There's been a lot of questions lately from some artists about, in CVP especially, about how we're using our sketchbooks because we did an immersion workshop where where we planned and started a daily sketchbook. So there's a lot of different ways to use sketchbooks, and I thought today I just might take a quick walkthrough of a few of mine. I've got so many sketchbooks, and they tend to evolve and grow over time. So right now, this is my current daily. I did make it myself. It's got a little tie closure. We won't go through all of it, obviously. There's some personal stuff in here, but it's very much like a bullet journal. I start out with an index, but I've also got space for making art every single day. I have to make marks in this. It's a requirement. This is a page that I did during the free immersion workshop. I have an annual calendar here for myself, and this is good because I decided as a result of this annual calendar that my year is full and I can't fit anything else in. And that's something that I'm guilty of trying to do too much. Titles, ideas for titles. I decided to sketch some trees one day. I don't know why. I don't generally do realistic things, but I just had the urge. Collage series. So when I built this, I made it out of various papers. You don't need anything special for a sketchbook, but this one I like. It's got some watercolor paper, so good heavy pages. It's got some normal copy paper that I've printed with dots as a bullet journal, and then some that's plain. And every once in a while, a collage paper peeks in. So when I turn the page, I get a little color surprise. So I've used different papers that I made to do those collage papers. So that's one. This is another that I made. It's a little zigzag book that I used when I was at a market and I couldn't really use paint, but I wanted something to do in the quiet time. So I had a glue stick and collage papers and just glued stuff down randomly, whatever it suited me. That one's made from a single sheet of watercolor paper. It's sort of, it has openings this way, plus it has openings that way. So it's sort of different. Another one that I made with just, it's a normal zigzag. If you know zigzags, it just opens up, that I use to explore sort of black and white mark making. That one I haven't used yet. This is an interesting one. I call it my octopus book because there are 8 pages that fold out like that. So once I start to use that, I'm sure I'm gonna have lots of fun. This is a junk journal, and it's got a quote on it that says, "To invent, you need a good imagination and a pile of junk." That's Thomas Edison. And it really is a junk journal. I use like envelopes and some note paper and emails that I printed out in a paper bag and all sorts of things in here. And every once in a while I still go in and make a mark. I got a bit of paint. I remember a page. I like flipping through it. It sort of inspires me for color ideas. This is another one, a real junk journal that I don't think I'll use this anymore, but I kind of like it because it's sort of, you think that's a page, but then you open it up and it's got these little sort of surprise pages that you get different compositions from turning the page. So that's interesting. And look, you can put anything in your journal you want to. I put a leaf in there because I really like that leaf. Then I used it to print something, so it had paint on it, so then I put it in there. This is one I made recently during a botanical workshop. I've just noticed I've got some blue ink on the cover. So I covered it with birch bark. Now, I also have pre-made sketchbooks that I use for all sorts of things. So this one I use specifically for color mixing. And I've got lots and lots of different pages in here. Colors mixing, I note what the color things are. That one, I like the color combinations that I came up with here so much that I just decided to use the extra paint to paint with it to show that, you know, all these different colors I did from 3. I made all of these and they all harmonize because, like Nick says, they've all got a little bit of everything else. Color loves to be with other color. Yeah. So that's all color mixing. This one is specifically devoted to collage exercises. So just little explorations in composition and color for me. I really like it. It's no pressure working in a sketchbook. These are just for me. These are glued in here. I'm not thinking I'm selling them or anything like that. It's just me exploring, basically. I don't even know what I'm exploring sometimes. I might be able to use these as inspiration for larger collages or maybe even paintings if I just look at the structures and the values and the compositions that I've come up with. So that's that one. Throw that on the floor. Sometimes I do courses, so I did Mark Ian's Language of Design. There's lots of just lines, different types of lines, how you can combine them, different expressive marks that you can make, geometric shapes, all sorts of stuff in here. So there's that one. We won't go there. Let's see, I've got this one. These are old, so I decided I wanted to play with what I thought I should do watercolor, because you know watercolor's easy. Not. So I started playing with watercolor and doing various sort of realistic things, but it didn't, you know, they're not bad, but it didn't really turn me on. I'm not crazy about doing them. I decided at one point I should do mandalas, and they were very relaxing, but, you know, kind of boring. This one's got lots of different explorations in it, a lot of collage. This design, the sketchbook page, I've actually turned into a pattern for my clothing. I have a clothing accessories line, so it's become one of my patterns. And you can see I collaged the front of the thing too to personalize it. This is an old one. Really old, I don't know. That was an exercise from Louise Fletcher on doing like a limited number of, a very prescribed set of marks. This was my feeling during the Australian bushfires a couple of years ago. They were very scary. This is just an ugly page. Lots of that. This is a fun one. There was a Facebook challenge to paint me a song. And I picked out one of my favorite songs, which is Night in Wyoming by David Broza, which is 3 minutes and 18 seconds. And I gave myself 3 minutes and 18 seconds to make this painting. So that's sort of, like, I like the night sky. It's interesting to me. 2021, the 100-day project. So I made 100 mini paintings, 4 by 4 inches, in 100 days. Actually, I think it took me 81 days, and I pasted them all in here. And some of them, Blank Spot sold that one, so I've sold a few of those. And let's see, Breadcrumbs and Spark. So this book is from Nick Wilton's Spark course. Limiting beliefs, redefining yourself, just keeping a note. If I ever feel, you know, my mother told me I was weird and had no talent, I come back here and I get rid of that limiting belief, right? Things I liked, cut paper exercise, making squares, value exercise. And last but not least, this is an old one too, 2020. I've said COVID starts and living stops because, of course, we're all trapped. And this is when I really started to find my way with abstracts. This is from Find Your Joy 2020, the Louise Fletcher's free course. I didn't do Find Your Joy, but just exploring color. This is when I started to feel like I didn't want to do realistic things. I just wanted to do abstract. It's what interests me. Okay, I like line and wash, but it doesn't bring me joy so much when I do it. This one started as an abstract, and it was supposed to be monotone, and I added a bit of blue and wound up with a seascape. It just happened by accident. Yeah. So there's a look through a couple of sketchbooks, a few sketchbooks. I have more. You won't see them all. Thanks.